Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Personal PR
So
Show. Today, we're here with Tatiana. And Tatiana might have some technical problems when it comes to, her video. She said that it's
sure.
dated, just a little bit, but it's not too bad, to be honest, right? How about you guys? Would you?
If you see me, I see you. Perfect. Well, live. This is great. You see me.
Yes, we see you well. So that's fine. Yeah, Tatiana, welcome to the Personal PR Show. We're so excited to have you here. Like the super connector, the networker. I mean, guys, Tatiana is really known in Switzerland. She has really made a reputation for herself as like the super connector, as the networker. And locally, where she's based in Zug, which is a beautiful town close to Zurich, but really in Switzerland in general as well, plus internationally too. And today we want to know all about how she got to this level, right? Tatiana, are you excited to share all of your secrets today?
Sure. I'm glad to do it. I'm happy to do it. Sure.
That is awesome. Okay,
Jessica.
Let's start with a little introduction. Yeah. What do you think? Maybe would you like to tell us something about yourself, just so our friends at home or on the other side of the screen know who you are, where you're from, what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I can, of course, it's my pleasure. So I would like to introduce myself. So I'm Tatiana. I live in Switzerland for over 20 years, 22 years to be exactly. And from now, and I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own company in real estate advisory. And so I'm consultant and advisor for international investors who would like to invest in Swiss real estate. This is my core business. This is where my social network, especially widespread. And apart from that, I'm also organizer, event manager, organizer of many networking events. As Jessica knows me for many years already, so you can confirm.
Oh yeah.
So and I'm actually very active and very initiative person. So I'm also project manager in very different projects.
Wow.
For example, one of my projects, it's the book, which was published last year. It's called Connecting People. It's about networking in digital time, in the time of digitalization, and how we're gonna communicate and negotiate and network in the future. Oh,
I always have it here close to my computer, just so you know.
You already got my book. Sure. I hope you can tell me your feedback if you already read something from my book. But
yeah. By the way, it's in sorry, something that I wanted to ask. Is there going to be an English version as well? Because this is in German, right? So
this is in German. Yes, it's planned to publish it in English, and well, I can't say exactly when, but I think someone who is interested should write me immediately a message, so I will know the person, and at least electronically, I promise to send this book. Let's say within the next month. Yeah. So, and another thing is that thanks to you, Jessica, what I'm doing now for people who do not read German or speak German. I'm taking part in this challenging of 100 days live on Instagram, and I try to gather some interesting points from the book and put it in live videos. And record it, of course, and then you can, who is interested can also have a look at my Instagram account. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think your Instagram account was linked to the event, to the announcement that we made a few days ago for this conversation today. And certainly, Chair, our relationship manager, will be sure to include the link also in today's post, because this live is going to become a post as soon as we're done talking. And then Chair will do like the caption, the links and everything. So guys, if you're watching us on the replay, you will be able to find all links of Tatiana's under this post, like in the comment section. Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so I think it was very shortly about me. Yes, I know you know me, Jessica, for many years already. Maybe you know, I'm organizer, I'm a real estate expert, I'm a producer of some interesting theater project here in Zug, a musical school for children. And so I'm initiating all the time in something to where I can put my energy, my positive energy, and to create something useful, something worth. Yeah. So this is me.
This is you. And I wonder if your human design is actually a manifesting generator. Have you ever heard of the human design?
Yes, I heard about human design, but I'm not sure that I've done it once. So really, would you recommend me to do it, or for
You can
someone
do
else?
it online. Yeah, you just enter your birthday and the
Yeah,
birth,
I know.
the place of birth as well. And that's it. And then you get your human design. Of course, if you want to go deeper, you can go much deeper, but at least you can have, you know, you can put, you know, your data, your information into one of these calculators, so to say. And in a matter of seconds, you already know which human design you are. And I would bet.
But why do you recommend me? Why do you recommend me to do it? What is the goal of human design?
They find it useful. Like, I never went deep, but I know, like, the system tells me that I'm a manifesting generator, which means that I'm constantly having new ideas, and basically I'm constantly starting new projects. But then I can't be bothered to actually implement everything myself and manage everything myself. So I have to have ideas, and then I have to delegate them. That's why I couldn't live without Cher, my lovely relationship manager, because I have the idea.
I know.
Into practice. So maybe you are a manifested generator as well, because you have so many different interests. Every time I talk to you, there's a new project.
This is correct. We know each other, I don't know how many, 15 years, maybe 20. Well, I'm since 22 years in Switzerland. So I came from Moscow 22 years ago. After finishing university, I studied economics there, you know my story. And then right after, I came to Switzerland to gather my first working experience. And since that time, I'm here. So not all the time I worked for myself. So I started, of course, with the traineeship in a very interesting company, like producers of furniture, and I was in marketing there, in sales department, and then I switched to risk management. Can you imagine that?
No.
And something completely different in the PVC, in like financial sector. And then I switched to export and sales, and then I came to real estate. So it was quite an interesting way. How you said, very different directions. But now I am in real estate for more than 15 years already. It's a family business. So I'm still there. So you see, it's not all, I'm not changing all the time. I'm just taking additionally some projects to my real estate, like say, passion, because I'm really passionate about this industry. I like it.
Yes. And I think that all of the new ideas and the new projects that you get in real estate, but also outside of real estate, probably have to, so you get these ideas probably because you're constantly talking to people. So actually you being exposed to so many people, constantly interacting with so many people, actually gives you ideas, right? This is what happens to me. I'm a networker as well, super connector as well, manifesting generator as well. And this is how I guess get my best ideas, like in conversation with people. So is it the same with you?
Absolutely. I would say without conversation, without like dealing with people, you don't really get much ideas. So of course you get ideas, but I think we all have like different days, like boring days, or like productive days, less productive days. And if I feel kind of boring, depressive, I don't know, not fresh, like not fit for the day, for really like solving some problems or doing some accounting, because I have to do it as well, because I'm an entrepreneur, I have my own company, and even 3 companies now, which I'm in charge of. And then I said, so Tatiana, something is not going well. And then I just made up with someone, you know, just for a coffee. Let's life, which is important, you know. I told you already my position. I think it's of course I can also call, for example, you, like say, hey, Jessica, can we have a Zoom meeting? I know 15 minutes. I need some refreshment. I need to see you. I need to exchange, to get some ideas. But it's for me, like my tip will be really to go out, you know, to go out of the office, out of home office, and just meet someone. Just meet someone. It doesn't matter, for a coffee, for a walk. We have a nice lake here in Zug, right? Like, or I already took once my office colleague. He was also totally involved in his work. I said, so now you stand up and we go. It's nice weather. We go 10 minutes on the lake. We just walk to the lake and we're coming back. So everything can wait. Everything can wait, you know, nothing, nothing happens if you just be away for 10 minutes, if you don't have a call, of course, or, you know, scheduled meeting or something. And then we've done it. And he was so thankful to me. He said, Tatiana, hey, it was like fresh air. It was conversation on the way because we were talking all the time. It was like nice exchange, small talk. And, you know, like, how can you express it? Like new ideas coming to you, you're back in the office, and you're more productive. You're more productive during the day. So this is what, I recommend.
Yeah, you get oxygen in your brain as well. In the company, the conversation, like the exchange.
Absolutely.
But you can also, so basically, like these walks can be casual, but at the same time, you can even have walking meetings, right? Instead of sitting at a desk.
Idea. This is what I actually would absolutely introduce in my business, and also introduce to someone else business, because coffee, like lunch, coffee, you know, it's like things we do on the regular basis. But if we maybe just have a walk instead, it's also a good idea. It's like you have this movement, you have some exercises, and for your brain it's also kind of stimulating. You're right.
Yes, so you are the perfect example of a networker that doesn't separate their social network from their professional network. Like I see a lot of people that are networkers, but they separate the two dimensions, right? And they do so maybe not intentionally, but sometimes, like some of them really do it consciously, because they're like, no, I don't want to mix up the two areas, right? You mix them up all the time. And this is actually not only possible, but it's actually the very key of your success, right?
You say that, because well, people asking me all the time, Tatiana, how can you imagine so many projects together? How it's possible to manage everything? Well, I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure, because I know people in my surrounding, many of them, like somehow managing several projects or several companies at this, you know. But this is a good question. Yeah, somehow I think it's all about the energy. It's all about the positive energy. And if you have the energy and you have motivation and you do something you really like to do, like you have passion for, so then it's much more easy.
But
it doesn't mean that I do all projects and every day at the same day, like, you know, it's like, you know, you can plan it. You can plan it. If you can plan it, it's much better. Yeah,
exactly. Wow. So for you, let's say it happened in both directions. Let me explain. So basically, you had maybe people that you were doing business with, and you became friends with them, but also you were already friends with somebody, and then you made business with them in a second step, right? So for you, it goes both directions.
Yeah, this was actually a good question, which we announced at the Facebook before, right? That how's it about doing business with friends? Are you afraid of doing business with friends? I thought, shall we leave it or shall we delete it? But it's a kind of difficult question, by the way, because from one side, you know, people say, never do business with friends, or never like lend money to friends, you know how, yeah. So it's a kind of it could end very differently. It's like, and it could be unexpectedly, because if you have a friendship relationships with someone, like friendship relationships, it's of course nice if you can deep these relationships, you know, like you develop them and you deep them. And if you add to these relationships something different, like different kind, or you start based on these relationships already, you start developing a different type of relationship, like in the business, like, you know, completely something different. This could go very different directions.
Yes.
So as for me, I would say at the same time, it's good to have business, of course, anyway, with someone who trusts you or whom you trust. So from this perspective, doing business with friends, like you said, it's a very good strategy. Because you don't need to go through all these stages, like, you know, communication, connection, take care of your relationships, like developing trust, and at the end, wait until you have these relationships establishment, right? You already established relationships, but I think in this point you need not to forget that in the business, if you go from friendships to business, it's another type of relationships, what you are going to establish. And this could be a kind of, you need to take care again of all these stages, like all the communication, of taking care of the contact, again, developing trust in business, because if you're just friends, it's great, but this is not this type of relationships which you need for the business, you know. In business you need a kind of different kind of trust, you know what I mean? Yeah.
This is so cool. Oh my God, I love this nuance and this angle. So basically you say that there are two different kinds of trust. And basically, if there's already trust in a friendship, it's not automatically transferable to a work relationship. You have to, you know, start from the beginning and build this relationship again. This is so cool. This is so true also. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's also logical. Yeah, so it's a kind of logical, and yeah, but this is if we speak about strong social relationships, we have to be careful a little bit in what kind of, for which goal we develop these strong relations. Of course, like my opinion is, if you have strong social relationships already, or contacts which you can develop to the quality relationships, you are anyway, you are on the good way. So you can only win. You can only win, because you never know. Because like we had a conversation like 2 days ago with my mom. My parents want to rent another apartment, you know, and to move to another apartment. And my mom was asking me, so if I know someone who is renting out, and I said, look, mom, now it's exactly the point, because she doesn't want to move to someone like stranger, you know, to someone who knows, maybe someone is renting out. And I said, look, this is exactly the point. Now you should put on your list your contacts, but not only the contacts, on like you put the contacts with whom you already managed to develop trust and good relationships. You know, this is it. Because all of us, we have like 500,000 contacts. You have more than that. You have all over the world contacts. I mean, you are absolutely champion, I think, in the number of contacts. But if you need something, let's say you really need help or from someone, and you need to solve exactly like some problem, for example, to find an apartment, and you don't have time to, you know, like to develop relationships with someone who will rent you apartment. So you need it very quickly, let's say next month. So starting from 1st of January. So what should you do? You go through through those contacts with whom you have good relationships. This is logical, right? And you call or write the people and say, look, hey, how are you? I hope you're well. So I really need your help because I need like apartments very soon. Maybe you know someone who is renting out or whatever, you know. And this is exactly how it works in life. Yeah. This is, from my perspective, that's why it's social networks, they are so important, that we keep on not only like developing the quantity of contacts like we do on social media, right? So I also have inquiries every day from someone who would like to be connected with me, like connected. Okay, you can have over several thousand connections through through your account, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, Instagram. But what I always ask me, what these connections actually serve you. And then if you're really in a trouble, if you really need something, if you want to, I don't know, to do breakthrough in your business, like, you know, or what I mean, this is actually the quantity of these connections. Only the quantity counts, not the number of them. So that's why I pretty good understand people who are saying, I'm very cautious. I'm very cautious about social media. I don't really want to be on social media so presented. This is also like a question, because I don't need these numbers. I don't need the number of people I don't know personally. I need I just want to be connected with my friends, okay, with someone with whom I care to build the relationships, you know. So I really understand the point.
Yes, certainly. Oh my God, I love this angle that you've just talked about. And this is one of the, let's say, the approaches that I also have to, for example, thought leadership or personal branding as well. Like when we want to establish ourselves as thought leaders, then certainly we want to have, you know, have social media channels with lots of followers, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, we want to be featured on third-party channels. So we want to be featured in the press. We want to be invited to interviews, maybe be on TV and you know, conferences and so on. But that is not enough. Like all of the marketers are only talking about, you know, the marketers talking about your own channels. So yeah, get a lot of followers here and there and do your newsletter and so on. Then the publicists come, the public relations person, they come and they say, yes, but you also have to be featured on third-party channels because this is what gives you social proof or credibility. Yes, that's true. But then I say, and I'm a publicist, so of course I say that too. But then the super connector in me comes out and says, yes, all of this is good, but then you also need to establish relationships. Like you have to establish relationships with the key players in your field, and they have to know you and you have to know them on a personal level, which is much stronger than having followers or following somebody or having some, you know, followers. It's much stronger because it's a real relationship, right? And the moment these people, these key people in your field know you and they associate you with your breakthrough idea, this is where you have real thought leadership. So you have all of these dimensions together, and then this is real thought leadership. You're so right. Exactly. Like there's nothing stronger than personal relationships.
Absolutely. So actually I'm pretty convinced on my experience that we always should work on establishing relationships, like making contacts to good relationships. This is the point. Yeah.
So let's get down to the practicalities here, Tatiana. What does a typical day look like for you in terms of business and networking? Because you're constantly talking to so many people, right? But you're working at the same time. That's so cool.
Yeah, well, it's not always like this. So it's not like every day I'm like, Tatiana is here, I'm there, I'm here, I'm talking to her. It's not that bad. But you know, I like to challenging me, and I also like to challenge other people. Yeah. So in terms of and sometimes also I have people in my surroundings who really admiring me and saying, Tatiana, wow, you're doing so well, you're doing this, you're doing that. So but I also have some people who said, hey, are you sure you're gonna manage all this stuff? I mean, shouldn't you be concentrated, more concentrated on one thing and on one expertise? And this is also kind of question. This is like you have to find a balance. So it's of course like. But again, I absolutely agree with you. It doesn't matter what you do, how many projects you have. If you have only one project, let's say you're concentrated, or you're a banker, you're working in the bank and you do nothing else as working in the bank with your bank products, you're top expert, for example, and everyone is knows it and admiring you. Or if you like you and me, we have very different projects. You have your online project already, and you have so many connections, super connections. And also me, like doing like 3 different companies, and like 2 for real estate and 1 for producing, for musical production, which is something more event managing actually. Yeah, and maybe organizing events, like networking events. It doesn't matter, but I think the key is always communication with people, like communicating with people, and not only just like, yeah, small talks, like we said, it helps us to like refresh our brain and help us during the day. So my day will look like coming to the office, having a tea or coffee, starting do some important things before the midday, and then I'm going to meet some people. So this is my perfect day of Tatiana. And then I have a meeting, maybe 1 or 2. So it does. Maybe I go to Zurich. I don't know. Once I went to Zurich to challenge you to come out from your home office.
Exactly. We met up just in front of my place, right? At TV.
Yes. I said, Jessica, no Zoom, please. We go and see each other live, because we really haven't seen each other for a long time. So I was really happy that you said yes.
But you had an agenda. I have to say, sorry, Tatiana, I have to interrupt you for 10 seconds. You did have an agenda because you wanted to hand me your book. That's why.
Yes. I wanted to meet you. Of course, I wanted to present you my book. And then I wanted to come back to my office and, with full of energy, with full of like happy, like talking to you, discussing things, new ideas. And then I wanted to have like 2 hours, at least 2 hours of working again at the computer. So this is like perfect day. You start with some important things, which you can't really not do. Then you have a break, of course, like all of us have like lunch break or something, but not only for eating, but also for me, break is like meeting some people, communicate with them live if possible, and then coming back, and then I'm much more productive. I'm much more productive than if I just stay in the office all day. So this is my experience.
So right. And actually, because we have to take a lunch break anyway, so why don't we combine it with networking, like taking a lunch break on your own? Lunch desk, whatever. Maybe you even take a break from work, but you have lunch on your own. It's such a waste of time, because you could really combine that with networking, and networking, like just a meeting, it brings about so many ideas, so many opportunities, and so on. I don't understand why people have lunch on their own. And one of the best books about networking by a friend of mine is called Never Eat Alone, right? Exactly. Never Eat Alone.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. The best idea is to combine. Yeah, you're right.
Because doesn't networking, Tatiana, in your opinion, in my opinion, it does. Let's hear in your opinion. Networking has a lot to do with time management.
Yes, I agree. But it depends what you mean by time management in this case. Yeah. So because networking is actually exchange of information with someone, right? With a person, with a group of people, and at some place. This is like classical definition of networking. So what do you mean by time management in this?
Like, for example, what we just talked about in the sense of you have lunch, you have a meal, let's say, and you combine it with a meeting, for example, right?
Yeah.
Or for example, because networkers, they are in contact with so many different people every single day. And then you want to, like, the people that you already have in your network, plus the people that you want to add to your network to network, because the idea of networking is always to expand and expand and expand your network all the time, right? So it does need a lot of organization, because it's a lot of work, right? So I would say it needs organizations, it needs systems as well. Like in my case, I even have my relationship manager, who networks on my behalf, so to say. Like she manages a lot of relationships, right? Because I don't have the time to manage hundreds of relationships every single day. So I feel that organizing yourself and the time management really plays a crucial role when it comes to, networking on, let's say.
Sure. Because absolutely. Then I agree. I mean, if you have a goal, like to spread your network, like your connections, like to gain more connections in your network, then it absolutely makes sense to have some methods, some assistance, whatever. Because I also know how it is, like if you manage all your time. But of course, don't forget about like personal touch is very important. Like I can't imagine like to delegate my assistant the establishment of the contacts of the relationships with someone, because this I also can manage myself. I mean, I need to be present. I need to be present in this process at least sometimes. So at least starting from first communication, taking care of connections, building trust, and then coming to relationships. So you have to be present, and you have to be present, maybe not always, because like keeping in contact is, if you know someone personally already, you doesn't need to keep in contact like every second day drinking coffee with someone, or every week. It's impossible, because if you have many connections. But you can chat, you can have like chat together, you can sometimes I'm just writing friends of mine, which I feel we already lost a bit connections. I'm just write a short message, how are you doing, what are you doing, without any perspective, like to meet immediately. So just but it works.
Works, right? Exactly. No, I totally agree. Like usually what I outsource is like logistics. When you have to find let's say a slot with somebody, this is not something that needs me, right? So I can outsource it to my relationship manager, so she will take care of it.
Yes, of course. Sure. This kind of things, yes, it's perfect if you have assistant. Agree.
And then of course, and I love what you said about messages as well. Something that I do usually to give more of a personal touch, which is something that you have just highlighted. And at the same time, in view of time, so for time management, I do audio notes. So I find when I do an audio note, it only takes me perhaps 1 minute. I can say many more things. Maybe writing all of that stuff would have taken me 5 minutes. So it's good for me for time management. But at the same time, it's good for the other person as well, because they really hear my voice and, of course, my expressive tone and so on.
Yes. I also do it. Like personal message, or like with your voice. Absolutely. This saves also a lot of time. Of writing, otherwise you have to type everything.
I think is like is not current anymore. Shouldn't be current anymore. We should all switch to voice. Oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. But Tatiana, what would you say maybe 3 secrets of your success in networking?
Okay, so well, the one thing is absolutely the first one. It's really, how you say, like love people. Because if you don't like people in generally, it will be very, very difficult for you to exchange information or ideas with someone, right? Like people, it's absolutely one, but it's not a big secret, so it's like logical. But this is very absolutely for me the first priority, and then the second is sometimes it's we say it like if you communicate with someone, you not only exchange of information or ideas, you also do exchange of energies. Like the other person starting feeling you. Why is live meeting with someone is so important in comparison to offline, like online meeting. Of course, I can feel your energy now, but sometimes it's just I can feel it much more if we see each other personally. Don't you think so?
Oh yes.
So this is like the second secret. If you meet someone, you starting feeling energy, and this is extremely important for your well-being, for your well-being, and for your really like 100% taking off the meeting. Like something which you take off from the meeting is not only ideas, but it's also the feelings. And this we can transmit, to my opinion, only through the live meetings with a person. Yeah. So, and if you understand how it works, if you have a practice in it regularly, Jessica, I'm starting to motivate you again. Going live.
I have a problem though, because my connections outside of Switzerland, most of them.
I know. Yeah, you have to start flying all over the world. I mean, yeah.
Oh, Mama. Resume my jet life.
Exactly. So this is like, if you know how to deal with this energy, and you know which the effect is. I always say, I also write it in my book. It's really meeting people. It's really worth it. It doesn't matter if it's come out with some deal immediately, or with some certain result after the meeting. It's worth it anyway, because every meeting with a person gives you, like we said, new ideas, fresh ideas, and it's also because you start feeling better. You start feeling like we human are, like with all our emotions. By networking live, you're exchanging your emotions as well, and your energy. And this is what makes you so happy, healthful, if we speak about long-term period, like in comparison with people who sit at home and like just working on their computer all the time, and do not really going out. I mean, these people are really, they have a risk to get some problems with their health. Exactly. So we just need to be aware of it. So everyone choose their own way, how we do our networking, how we build our social network. But this is absolutely worth to think about it, to be aware of. And this first, the third secret, it's maybe how you approach the people. We also can do it in different way, so if, let's say, networking, don't forget that networking is about giving and taking. Yeah. So it's not all about taking something. So first it's about giving something, and this is a very top simple secret of it. If it's the right approach to the person. It doesn't matter where you meet or how you meet, but first you need to give something. It doesn't matter what is it. Is it a compliment? Is it maybe a smile, of course, or I'm starting. So my secret is, when I'm meeting live with someone, I'm starting to giving my energy already at the beginning, like positive energy, sending the person my energy, saying it without words, like on the feelings level, like I really like you. I like you so much. I'm so thankful that you are here and we can exchange. And even if I know that I will need something from this person for business, for example, I would never just, start speaking about business at the beginning. So I would really start to think how to give something first, like the person like feel well in my surrounding, This is it. Yeah.
So these are your three secrets. I'm sure that you have many more secrets, but you would say that these are the top three.
Yes.
So, oh my God, this is amazing. But Tatiana, so because we are approaching the end of our conversation, I do have one last question. And it's a question that I ask everybody that comes on the show, but everybody responds to it in a different way. So I'm really curious as to what you will answer. So what is a question that I haven't asked you, during this hour together, but I should have asked you?
What is the question you shouldn't ask me? Or sorry, can you say it again?
It's a question because I've asked you many questions. I've asked you many questions, right, over the past 45 minutes. But certainly there are questions that I didn't ask you, and that
I
should have asked you. What is one of them?
Well, actually, firstly, I like all your questions, and I really, it's good to do it spontaneously all the time. So I like it. It's one of the exercise for public speaking, by the way. Yeah, like spontaneous talks, which actually I didn't like in the past at all. That was the reason I didn't do Toastmasters. I could do Toastmasters, but I didn't do it because I didn't like this part.
Okay.
I didn't like the part of spontaneous talks. But somehow through the years and through going live every day, thank you very much, my dear, for this challenge. It helps a lot. It helps a lot, really. So the question, actually, the question is, I think we answered so many important questions together today. And the only thing is really like, why should we invest our time in establishing social networks, like going I don't know, live every day, for example. This is also a kind of establishing on the way to start establishing relationships if you go somewhere like. But this is a good experience. Maybe I can share it now in this video for someone who hasn't done it yet. So one of the way how we can start establishing relationships with someone, if we go live on social media, now channel, and by giving something to the audience. The goal should be really giving. And before I go live, I'm always like, have a minute to think about what can I give to the audience with this short period. It could be 1 minute. It does need to be like 10 minutes, but it should be something which I can send to the world, but something which is maybe for someone could be interesting or useful. And this helps a lot in finding contacts, new contacts. So people who are watching you, maybe who never met you, but they just friends of your friends of a friends. And then they came to my account and they're watching me. And this is like also beginning probably of good relationships later. Through the sharing, the person like just going maybe every day or not every day, watching you or listening to you, and one day he or she writes you a message. Oh, Tatiana, I have been listening to your video. By the way, my opinion is like this, so thank you very much for your input. This is how we also can start relationships. And this is how I would say I would recommend to do it. I really would recommend not only having coffee and lunches with your friends or someone but already starting going live, with completely only with one goal to give something, like absolutely the point, the most important issue of the networking. If you want to get something, we have to give first.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely. So this is the whole concept of reciprocity, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
And the way reciprocity is that you give first. I love that. And then with time, maybe some people get it. They approach networking and they get it that they have to give first in order to receive something. And then I think there's a next step. To me, there was a next step pretty quickly, to be honest, which was I'm not even attached to a result, to an outcome anymore. I just like I like giving because I just like people, right? And I don't expect anything from that person. I don't even expect anything to come back from my network in general, because actually the act of giving something was already something that made me happy, right? So
absolutely. This is
right.
it.
And then when you are so detached from the outcome, this is actually how you attract opportunities and people even more, right? Because you're so unattached.
Absolutely.
Because people are like, they feel the desperation and the expectations from you, right? That's why. So
absolutely. I love this point. Yes, I love this point very much, because if you feel happy by giving something without taking, without like having goal to take something, you have a special condition, a special energy is created, like a mix of happiness and the well-being and importance or something, and then that you important in terms that you do something important, you're giving something, right? And then, like you said, the opportunities starting suddenly coming to you from different perspective, from different ways. And this is how I think this is how our world is functioning, by the way.
I was having this conversation, maybe you can relate as well. I was having this conversation yesterday with a friend of mine. She's actually a friend and my accountability partner. And she's the head of events at Mind Valley. Do you know Mind Valley? It's this great
Not really.
Global company.
But it sounds good.
Yeah, with millions of followers, they're all personal development, with different courses, with thought leaders, and yes. So basically, global head of community, and she's because we're in the same mastermind, which is my accountability partner as well. So basically, she was saying yesterday that she exactly yesterday gave, let's say, a masterclass on a learning platform that has nothing to do with Mind Valley. It's a learning platform, like for example, Masterclass. You know the app Masterclass? Yeah, it's something similar, but it's the Italian version. So she was called as a lecturer, so to say. She gave this masterclass, and she was not holding back because she has a business as well. And when you give masterclass, then the strategy is not to give too much info. Of course, you want to give enough info to show people that you are an expert, that you know what you're talking about. But you don't want to give it all away because, of course, number one, in an hour, you can't talk about your whole expertise. But number two, also because you want to leave some, let's say, some blank spots in order for people to want to work with you, of course. And this strategy, of course, works for selling and so on. But then she was like, oh yeah, yesterday during the masterclass, I didn't hold anything back, unlike what I do in my business. And it felt so good. And it was really, really appreciated. And she realized that actually the way that she created her success over the past, 10 years, and this crazy network that she has globally, she really has a crazy global network. She's, by the way, Tatiana, this lady, Annie, is in our group, Global Super Connectors, right? So you will be able to find her there.
Okay.
So then you can look her up and can follow her on Instagram. She's more, let's say more active on Instagram than on Facebook. But anyway, and you guys can follow her as well. Annie Selfo. It's very easy to write. So ENI and then SELFO, right? And she's a head of events at Mind Valley. And then she was like, she realized that the key to her success was exactly that. The fact that she was not holding back, she was giving without expectations. And this was, let's say, the source of this great energy that she had, she projected, and what magnetized everybody to be in her network, right? And I realized that as well, because like for me too, I could relate so much with this, because all of my life until the beginning of this year, I was actually not an entrepreneur. I always had a corporate job. So I was networking, not for business, to generate business for myself. I was not networking for the sake of networking, for the sake of, creating joy for me, for people, for, creating all of these social architectures and so on. And now it's different. When you are an entrepreneur, it's actually different, because it seems that you're networking actually for a purpose. And and the energy can change a little bit. Like some people are like, oh yeah, she wants to build a relationship with me because she wants to sell me something. So I think that this is talk about as well, like networking for entrepreneurs can be like, we really need to be so mindful of our energy in order not to be perceived as desperate or like salesy. And so it's a really a fine
yeah.
line.
Absolutely. Like a balance. You need to find this balance for yourself. Absolutely.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. But I think if you go through this formula, like giving first anyway, and approaching people with this purpose, like making people like you in all terms, it doesn't matter if it ends to the deal and or not. Because first, as we said, it can magnetize other possibilities for you in the future. And yeah, it doesn't need to be a deal now. It could be also the person could return to you in a couple of months or years, or maybe with some referrals even. So probably someone else will be coming to you, and you never know. Or what also can be absolutely possible, you can possibly don't have a deal like for business, but you will create and find friendship with the person. Yeah, this is also possible. This is all possible. And you will be so glad in a couple of years that you went to this meeting. Then you spend the time, like your precious time with this person. You spend it that time. Even you didn't come to the deal, but you came to the friendships.
Exactly.
But
No,
what could be better? What could be better if our world is full of good friends, Yeah.
yes,
So I'm a
absolutely.
bit of romantic in this.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think
And
we like
interesting, you were talking about mastermind, your master classes, right?
yeah.
I took part in finally in the first mastermind last week. It was a very good, interesting experience. It was my first time. I told you that I wanted to try, and I just wanted to try how it works. And I was like many people who are coming to mastermind with some like not saying problem, but with some solution, to find a solution, right? For some reasons, for some projects. And then when I was talking about my problem and what I wanted to change, what with this project or that project, the moderator of the mastermind just asked me, like it was like a pause. People were asking me like questions, and then he asked me, Tatiana, I have one question. What is the point? I mean, I don't understand what is the point. I mean, you're doing like well, you're telling what you are telling, it sounds like already good enough. I mean, what I don't see any problem. And you see, so sometimes, like always, we have it here in mind that we have a problem or we have a obstacle in our business or in our project. And if you talk to someone about it, so that's why I found mastermind so valuable, actually. It was a big benefit for me. I didn't find the answer to my question specifically, but what for me was absolutely great, it's the conclusion that if we have so many things in mind, and if you talk to someone, if you're doing networking, exchanging with someone, you get also amazing tips sometimes, like like the universe sending you the answer through the certain person, so the person you're talking to now. So yeah, it's great. And the universe was talking to me, Tatiana, actually, there is not a problem. The problem is in your mind. You think that you have a problem with this concrete project, right? That it's not like going smoothly enough and not, taking this sustainability level, because this is what I'm thinking, that I'm struggling all the time. Like I would love my projects to stay sustainable. It's not like, what I mean. And actually, I have everything that in me, and that it could be reality, but something stopping me in my mind. So I need to exchange with someone to understand that I should really take it easy. I should really follow different thoughts, not these kind of thoughts I have in mind. So this is another important point, I think.
Absolutely, because as much self-aware as we can be, some people are very, very self-aware, which is great, but we'll still have blind spots, right? And this is where we like interacting with the people and getting their feedback, and of course their perception of us and our problem, right?
Because the people helps you to see yourself from the side, because we see each other and we convince each other, perceive ourselves very how you say it,
biased way,
like subconscious, like really it's something in us, maybe which struggling, where there is no struggle at all. And it helps if you're going out for mastermind, you're taking part, and you speak with someone that people really gives you opinion, and you see, suddenly you see yourself from the side, and you see actually he's right or she's right. Yeah.
Absolutely, I love that. Yeah, so happy that
this is great about exchanging with people. This is great about it, really. And it's worth it. Yeah.
That's so cool. Tatiana, I see that we have unfortunately reached the end of our hour together. So thank you so much for being with us here today. And please come back to the show in 2023, which is already in like 3 weeks.
Thank you. Right? Oh yeah, I will. With pleasure, really. Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah. We have to speak some more about networking and connecting people and your book and the other projects that you have. There's so much gold that we can get from you. So we're super, super grateful that you decided to share it with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you also you, because you were inspiring me for the book, many years ago. You've been always for me the great connector and great networker, and I was always thinking about you actually also.
Well, to me too. So. I mean, yeah, when we get connected by somebody, I can't even remember. Sorry, person, if you're watching us. Sorry,
no worries. Don't worry. But I think if it comes together, I mean, it was Internations probably. No.
Maybe Zolti from Hungary, based in
but it was later. I think we knew each other before already. Yeah. Somehow, universe put us together, and I think we are great in this discussion. So we should really continue, like for giving really to the audience the maximum of how you say it, the maximum of our experience and our knowledge. I don't want to say that I have more knowledge than you and you more knowledge than me, but we're all experts in communication, networking. But I think sometimes, people sometimes have this fear, like fear to go somewhere, fear to find new contact. I just have a friend who just moved to Abu Dhabi, and she asked me, Tatiana, how shall I go to people? How should I, before I start networking, how I approach the people? This is like your problem. And I think we can really give so many tips, because we have no fear, right? We have no fear to approach people and to start connections and to start new connections. And
I wouldn't be scared not to talk to people, because I'm like, oh my God, if I don't talk to people, I'm going to miss on so many ideas and opportunities and so much fun, so much value that I can add. No. I'd be scared of not approaching people.
Absolutely. So am I.
Right. That's so cool that we found each other.
Okay.
All right. So be ready for the next episode of the Personal PR Show. No, for one of the next episodes of the Personal PR Show next year, because Tatiana is going to be on with us again to share much, much more. And I mean, today we just scratched the surface. So just get ready, guys, because there's so much more to learn. Tatiana, thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well for this experience. Yeah, thank you. Great. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, Tatiana. Everybody.
Ciao.